You're listening to 710 KURV. I'm Davis Rankin along with Roxanne Garcia. As she fiddles with her microphone, we're going to commence talking with the mayor of Mission in just a little bit and find out why he is opposed to the passage of the medical school or hospital district, trying to get the language right. And we'll take your calls at 800-580-8255, 800-580-TALK. We've had two people waiting, George and Joey. So we'll go to George first. Thank you very much for calling us on 710 KURV. What's up?
I have a couple of comments. I think that 8 cents that you were talking about, I think that's part of the tobacco settlement that by state law, that each county in the state of Texas have to set aside 8% of their budget for indigent care. So I think that's where that 8 cents comes up with. Now, as far as the Proposition 1 and where we're going to be there, we used to have a hospital district that covered both counties that was created by legislation and also was adopted by both county commissioners' court, but they did away with it.
Now, how do you know this?
It's in the news. Don't you read the newspaper?
Every day.
In the Monitor. It was in the Monitor.
Was it? Okay. I missed that.
And also I had a comment. I don't know if your listeners know about it or not, but are you aware that the McAllen schools are the only school district that are not having classes on Election Day?
No.
Because
it's the only school district
are having classes, and McAllen is the only school that's not.
No.
And I know that there may be a concern about safety, but apparently other school districts feel that it's pretty safe. I don't know why they're not having it. I just think it deters voters.
What does that have to do with them not having school tomorrow? What does that have to do with the hospital district or the election?
Well, it's on the ballot.
Mm.
And people are not going to get to go vote. I think it's just the last chance for parents to have an opportunity to go vote where they haven't voted on Election Day.
Yeah.
And it's just strange that we're the only school district that does not have school.
I don't think they've ever done that. Well, occasionally a school board member listens to the show, so maybe they'll call in and tell us. George, thank you very much for calling 710 KURV. Joey, what's up with you?
Hey, Dr. Gelman's still there?
No, he hooked him. He left.
Well, my problem is this. Dr. Gelman on his show constantly preaches about no taxes, not in the Constitution, constantly says that we should not trust our elected officials that are in, whether it be in our district, whether it be state, national, there shouldn't be any trust at all. But he's willing to give a trust of up to 75 cents to these people that he has been preaching for years against. And then not only that, is that he wants taxes now, where before, in multitude of his shows, he constantly is against that. Now, to me, it sounds like somebody that has an interest in making sure this passes instead of saying, hey, what's in the best interest of the community in general? Now, he is a doctor. He has a multitude of interest within the hospital. That's why he wants this bill passed, not because he necessarily agrees with it, but financially gaining a lot from it. And I think we need to look at this and look at this as a whole and say, this is not going to benefit a whole. And then you're giving such a large amount of money in control to local and state officials that we should not be giving that much control to.
All right. Well, just for the record, I think to ascribe his position solely because there's money involved is not to accurately represent what he said, or what he feels. And I'm not here to a show on Sundays. I'm sorry?
We'll agree with anybody who listens to a show on Sundays agrees with me because of the fact that he that's his main purpose, to make sure that everybody agrees that we should not be taxed because of what it says in the Constitution, and in the local and state officials should not be trusted. He even said it there a little bit, but didn't kind of stop short of saying, hey, the local officials are the only ones we can trust. That doesn't make sense in what he said.
Well, I think
on Sundays.
What I interpreted him to be saying, and if he's listening, he's cracking a tooth, is that the best shot you have of controlling the atmosphere is with local people. That's the best deal you're going to get. He did not say, "Oh, yay, whoopee, we get local hospital district." He wasn't talking that way. But I do not. But here's my problem with some of this. to say, well, the hospitals are for it just because they're going to get paid. Well, yeah, they are going to get paid. But, they're also giving away a lot of health care that they're not getting paid for. And if I have a plumber, I got a plumber who needs to come to my house because he's got a list of things to do. What happens if I say, you're going to come and you're going to do it, but I'm not going to pay you, or I'm going to pay you half your bill? He wouldn't come, and I would be hauled into court. But we do that with health care all the time. We make them furnish goods and services. The doctor furnishes only his time. The hospital furnishes hard goods. They have to pay cash for it.
Let's put this in perspective, Davis. I don't pay my plumbing bill, but I expect you through taxes to pay my plumbing bill.
No, I expect you to pay your own plumbing bill, but perhaps that wasn't the best example. But I think to say this is just a money grab on the part of the medicine is not an adequate response, because the way the government has been handles indigent health care that they've decided to undertake is to say, okay, doctor, we're just not going to pay as much. That's how we balance our books. We just don't pay as much. Wait a minute.
Well, I mean, and the way this is written, and Roxanne was trying to make this point, was you have up to 75 cents that they can spend. Well,
yes.
What makes you think that they're going to stop at 25, maybe 35, saying, oh, we're going to justify it in this manner because the hospitals need to stay open because somebody got sued and by an indigent person that can't pay, but now all of a sudden we got to do this. I think in general, yeah, we do need a hospital district, but at the same time, leaving them up to 75 cents to play with, I think that's kind of dangerous.
Yeah, I got to bounce because we got a guy in the studio. Paco, if you'll be cool, we'll come to you. Thank you for calling us, Joey, on 710 KURV. By the way, I think you can embrace what I said and still vote for the district. You can still. What I said about medicine is something I've said for what it's worth for years and years. I don't think what they're doing is right. I also think doctors don't understand how much people freak out about medical expenses. That's just my own personal view, that they don't fully understand how you go to the doctor, you don't know what's going to be $20 or $2,000 when you get out. So, anyway, I'll stop impugning myself, and we'll talk with Norberto Salinas. He's the longtime mayor of Mission, former county commissioner for that. In fact, you quit county commission and ran for mayor, didn't you, Don?
No, I just decided not to seek re-election and took care of my business for about 6 years, and got appointed with by Governor Richards to Funeral Service Commission. Was there 6 years and then ran for mayor.
So why are you opposed to the passage of this hospital district, proposition number 1 on the Hidalgo County ballot?
Well, it's something that a lot of people should know. We live in an area where we have too many indigent health care. I mean, it's too many, and too many in Mexico. It's impossible for the taxpayers of this county to be able to pay all of the health care that needs to get taken care of. That's what we came up with in 1985-86 when Mark White was governor, and we went ahead and passed the law that Hidalgo County was going to be responsible for only 10% of the indigent health care. It became law. It was a law that the federal law says that every county should be responsible for 100% of the indigent health care. That was a federal. That's a federal law that's out of the federal government. In order for us to be able to do what we did then, was to pass legislation in the state that said Hidalgo County and border counties should only be responsible for 10% of the indigent. So that was state law, and we were doing fine. I mean, the county is supposed to appropriate monies up to 10% of their budget, and spend it well to the tune of maybe, if the county's budget is 180 million, I mean, it should be 18 million for indigent health care.
Well, they're only spending. Well, Ramon Garcia, the county judge, said they allocated $6 million in this budget.
Well, that's not right. They haven't been doing it right. You know, they should have been following the law and appropriating 10% of their budget, and separately away from their budget. And I know they haven't been doing that. So of course, the law said that they had to, and we've been doing fine since those days of Mark White when he was governor. And now somehow these people got together and without telling any of the other mayors, I certainly didn't get told about what they were trying to do. So they got together.
Who's they?
The state representatives, all of them put together. They and Juan Hinojosa, of course, he's the leader, and appropriated and introduced a bill into Austin that they wanted to uncap that 10%. The responsibility of the county was only 10% of the indigent, and 10% of the budget.
Okay.
Anyway, they went over there and introduced the bill, and somehow they had to have a special election throughout the state of Texas, which they had last year.
Yes.
Well, not too many people knowing about what was going on.
They had to throw out the old constitutional provision, which said there was a previous health district here, and that had to be abandoned or abolished.
No, it was the law that we had passed back in the 80s, that the counties had a cap of 10%. So they did that and had a statewide election and got it passed. And when it passed, of course, the cap went out the window. So now the county is responsible not only for 10%, but now is responsible for 100% of the indigent. So that was the new law now, and the only way they could operate the only way they could get a hospital district going was to do away with that law and introduce a new one.
Well, hang on for a second. We'll take it up. We'll take it up there, but we got to pause for a moment. We've got Paco and Doug holding. We'll get to you after the bottom of the hour because we need to get some more stuff established from Mission Mayor Norberto Salinas here on 710 KURV. You're listening to 710 KURV. I'm Davis Rankin along with Roxanne Garcia and Mission Mayor Norberto Beto Salinas talking about the ballot proposition for a healthcare district, a hospital district, a medical district in Hidalgo County. It's on the Hidalgo County ballot. It's county proposition number 1. And Mr. Salinas has is opposed to it, and we're finding out why. Roxanne?
I have a question. Who will benefit if this is passed? For example, like us regular citizens, we know that Prop 1 is going towards the UTRGV medical school. It's for indigent care, reimbursement for doctors for the indigent care. But what will us, who is actually going to benefit besides them? What will we get?
Well, let me tell you what we're actually not going to get anything except once if it passes, once they appropriate that $5 million for the medical school, because I think the medical schools only get 3% of this whole deal. The hospitals have been financing this campaign,
to
the tune of many thousands of dollars, and I think
last I heard, almost $500,000.
Almost $500,000. One hospital come up with $140,000. Another hospital was $115,000.
Well, they're going to gain out of this.
Well, the reason they're paying so much money, they're gathering all this money together, is because once you create the hospital district, they're going to come in with those bills. I mean, they're saying they have lost $400 million on collected medical service. But, they've been doing so well here in the Valley for many, many years without us having to subsidize them.
You're not believing their cry of pop. Well, you appoint people to the hospital authority board. Does the city of Mission appoint people to their charity hospital? To your nonprofit hospital? No. Well,
they do. In Mission, we have a nonprofit, but they appoint themselves. And I was talking to the administrator about it the other day. But anyway, they're saying they lost about $400 million. They're losing about $400 million on.
I remember that figure.
But what's going to happen here is that once you establish the board, and once you already have it going at 8 cents, because they were very bright about saying, well, we're going to start with an 8 cents tax rate, so it could be attractive to the taxpayers to vote for it, with a cap of 75 cents.
Yes.
When they were talking about the 75 cents, you look at that $400 million. 75 cents for the county's worth is $4 billion. It will bring in about $320 million a year.
If it were 75 cents.
Which is going to get there. I mean, sooner or later they're going to send in those bills, and
You think they're
of course this is what it's for. It's for the hospitals. It's for nobody else.
well? The
It's-
doctors. I asked Gilman about that, and he said that, and the legislation provides people registering or signing up with the district to participate in the district, so doctors could get reimbursed that away. He said.
Well, what I'm telling you is that 75 cents would only bring $320 million. 3% of that goes to the medical school. And we really don't need this hospital district because the only people that are going to benefit are the hospitals for charging us the uncollected bills that they have.
How are they going to benefit?
They
They're making a profit?
by collecting what they say they've lost. They've been doing well since I've known. McAllen Medical Center is building a new emergency room on the west side of on the expressway in Mission, right next to Mission Hospital, because they know they can get more business and they've been making money. I mean, nobody's going to tell me that those people are not making any money. And they can absorb those losses and call them losses. But they're not going to tell you how much money they're making. And they're not going to let us go into their books. They're not going to let us send auditors to their hospitals. See, they want money, but they don't want us to look at their financials. But anyway, what I'm saying is that once they start sending in those uncollected bills,
yeah.
it's going to get to the 75 cents. Whoever said that it's not going to get there, it's going to get there.
So they're going to come back and say we got to have more because we have all this unpaid for care that we've got.
Exactly. And forget about the doctors. I don't think the doctors are going to be able to get anything out of this, or the pharmacist, or anybody else. Right now, with the indigent health care program the county has, well, at least somebody's taken care of. They get a Medicaid card.
We got to do the news at the bottom of the hour. Norberto Salinas, the mayor of Mission, is with us, talking about why he is opposed to the medical district in Hidalgo County passing tomorrow. It's up for a vote tomorrow, because tomorrow's election day here on 710 KURV. You're listening to 710 KURV. I'm Davis Rankin, along with Roxanne Garcia and the mayor of Mission, Norberto Salinas, talking about the healthcare hospital district, which is up for a vote on the general election ballot. Tomorrow, of course, is election day. Have you voted?
Of course I voted.
Really? Okay. Then tomorrow at 6 o'clock, our coverage begins. Fox News will have the national scene. We'll do local and state stuff here. We'll quit 9, 10 o'clock or something, but it'll be it's a tremendous, we do a tremendous job, if I say so myself. It's because of the perspective we bring to it in some cases. What? Don't laugh. Don't laugh. For example, I could say if we were covering city elections that Norberto Salinas was reelected mayor of Mission, which he was over opposition last time, and he was a county commissioner for a long time before that. And I used to watch him yell at the county auditor, Steve Austin. Just rail at Steve. Just yell at him. And Steve would just sit there, and then but he had this grin on his face, Beto did, and I thought, I don't think he means it. I think he's really mad at Steve. Anyway, talking about Mayor Salinas' opposition to the proposition, and you said, before we get to the calls, you said something which I've not heard I've heard callers say they didn't trust him not to go to 75 cents. You said that's the plan, or that's the idea. Am I saying that right?
Yes, because the statute that Juan Hinojosa is talking about in Austin says 75 cents. That doesn't mean anything. You know, the commissioner's court can do anything they want to. They can put a ballot at 25 cents or at 50 cents or at 75 cents.
If the hospital district's established, though, that rate setting goes to them.
No, but the commissioner's court can do anything they want to do. I mean, if they want to get away from the responsibility of setting the rate, they could have set 25 cents from the day they said that they were going to call the election on the. Instead, they went ahead and wrote 75 cents. They knew that they needed the 75 cents to be able to accommodate the hospitals.
Well, that's the state, but that's the state cap.
No, well, they're using that for some counties. Yeah, but those counties do not have Reynosa to the south. But right now, it's about 1 million people or 1.5 million. And this county is a very different county compared to Travis County and Bear County. And I mean, they don't have what we have. We have
A lot of poor people from across the river.
exactly, and it's like Governor Mark White said. It's impossible for the taxpayers of Hidalgo County to be able to pay for the indigent health care that we have. So here we have the hospitals that get the business,
Mm-hmm.
and they need to absorb some of those losses because it's an obligation that they should have to absorb some of those losses because we don't know what kind of markup they have on an aspirin, and I think most people know the markup on if you go into the emergency room for 2 or 3 days. I mean 2 or 3 hours, you come out of there with about an $8,000 or $9,000.
Yeah.
You know, everybody knows the outrageous prices that we have in the hospitals. So if we have this hospital district passed tomorrow, then you are going to have a 75 cents tax on your property in a couple of years. It probably will not happen the first year or the second year, but as soon. But the target is the target is there. There've been some conversations when the hospitals go ahead and come up with $500,000 to run this campaign against against a few of us. We're not too many of us are opposing this, but I think overall people are going to vote against it, just for the simple reason that it's 75 cents, and they're saying that I'm judging the people or
Misjudging the people who are for this.
yes, that I'm saying that I'm not telling them the truth.
Misleading.
When I see the if they go into the ballot box and they see the 8 cents initiation and a 75 cents cap,
Mm-hmm.
that's not misleading the people. It's the truth.
I do have a question though. I read they go, so if the
We'll
taxes are
get some calls next.
okay, if the taxes are decided to increase, there would have to be an election and defeat a tax rate if taxes are increased by slightly more
After the
than half.
establishment.
Yeah, so if they do increase more than 8 cents, there would have to be a vote.
No.
Is that correct?
No, it's gonna take. It's just gonna be the board and the commissioners court that are going to. Well, it's the 5 people in the commissioners court and 4 of us. So they have the controlling vote.
Well,
which is
not
5.
according to this legislation that I've looked at, because I had the same question. According to the bill, and I hope I'm got
Yeah.
the commissioners court appoints 4. McAllen apparently gets 2 because it's the largest city.
The
Well,
gets
they
largest
2.
city.
they haven't agreed to give McAllen an extra one.
Well, it's in the bill that got passed. Unless I'm reading the wrong.
I think you're reading the wrong bill. Because Jim was talking to me about it day before yesterday, that he wanted 2 because they're coming up with $2 million.
Yeah.
But that's if the hospital district fails. If we see not too many people know that the medical school is one, and the hospital district is another.
It's another thing.
Yeah, because we all are supporting the medical school, and we are going to. If this fails, we're going to continue with the medical school, and we're going to subsidize it through our cities, where we can control the budget. You know, I told them that we were willing in mission to come up with $1 million to be able to subsidize the medical school.
And that's what y'all have been paying it. Or y'all paid
Well,
$500,000.
$500,000, and then the city manager brought it down to 250. But it's actually going to be, you know, if this fails, it's going to be $1 million. Because I'm sure we're going to support it. But if it passes, then we don't pay anything.
Yeah. That financial obligation goes.
It's gone. So I'd rather have the obligation come to the city than to be able to pay the 75 cents. And this is where they get upset because I say 75 cents. Well, it's going to be 75 cents. And the city of Mission, when it gets there, is going to pay $36 million. a year for for for,
For the tax on your property.
on the district. So I hope that people can understand how bad it's going to be and how costly it's going to be
Yeah.
when it's been working very well for us in the last 25 years. I don't know why those state representatives didn't contact the mayors. Why didn't they have a public hearing or a meeting with you and see how we felt? But they went ahead and did it very mysteriously. That they went ahead and passed the bill, and only I guess the county judge knew about it, and the hospitals because we did not know about it.
Well, I don't think the fact they were going to try to pass a bill for this was the language may have been unknown to people, but the fact they were going to do it was known to everybody.
Well, they didn't contact us in Mission, and after I talked to other mayors, nobody knew about it.
Let's see what some of the callers have who've been waiting. Paco's been waiting a long time. Paco, thank you for calling 710 KURV. What's your question?
Yeah, hello. Yes, sounds like another one of those. You got to pass to know what's in it. And I want to commend Mayor Salinas for coming on the air and just laying it out and going on the internet there with the YouTube. I saw the video that you did there with the Open Word News guys.
Oh yes,
I heard about that.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. My question is actually for you, David. My question is, what do you think about maybe doing a radio district? I know that radio's been losing some money lately, and maybe that'd be a good bailout for radio. How's that sound?
I think the owners would probably like that. Now, I take your point. I think I take your point anyway. We don't have time for my frivolity. I don't have any ownership.
You just don't want to answer.
I have no ownership interest in this at
Davis.
all. I am a wage slave like everybody here, which is fine. Which is fine. Doug, thank you for calling 710 KURV. What's up?
How you doing?
Fine. What's your question for the mayor?
Why do they call it a hospital district or whatever when the hospital only gets 25% of the money and the other 75% goes into the county?
That's not right.
Guess what? They are going to spend it.
I don't think that's right.
I agree with the mayor. Eventually, it's going to be 75%, and then they're still going to complain. They got to raise it to more.
Well, the way I have to say, the way we were told here on the radio that the money was going to be divvied up, the $20 million generated by the 8 cents would be $5 million
to the school,
to the medical school. That replaces what the cities and the county are giving now. $12 million will go to indigent health care, and then that leaves a balance of $3 million for the operation of the district. And the bill, which I think I've got in front of me, lays out all the stuff it's supposed to do. It's a full-smoke governmental entity, if you'll forgive me for that, with an executive director and the power to hire other executives and the power to hire doctors and people like that. Now, Gelman said in the last hour that the way this will function is they're not going to own their hospital. They're not going to, but you will apply to be a participant in this project or whatever you want to call it. And that's how the doctors will get paid. They'll submit their indigent health care bills to the hospital district, and that's how they get paid. And that's the same way the hospitals will get paid. What kind of staffing thinking they have, I don't know. And I didn't ask Gelman because I didn't figure he'd know. And I don't know who does know. Maybe, and I'm not sure it is known. I'm looking at some people who are opposed to it. I don't know that they know. And I've always wondered if Ramiro Garza, he's not here so he can't defend himself, misspoke or something. Because $3 million is a lot of money to have
unaccounted for.
Unspoken for. I don't think they're going to Brazil with it. Don't misunderstand me. But, and there's going to be some overhead. There's nothing that doesn't come without overhead. But it seems to me this is going to be mostly a management project as opposed to an operations project. Yes, ma'am. Can you...
I'm not like, I just want to know, is there anything good that's going to happen if it does get passed?
Yes.
Well, the only good that's going to happen is that the hospitals are going to get the money.
That's Mayor Norberto Salinas, who is not buying the hospital district. Your call's next on 710 KURV. Roxanne Garcia, Davis Rankin, and Mission Mayor Norberto Salinas. Beto Salinas talking about the ballot proposition, which is County Proposition number 1 to establish a hospital district in Hidalgo County. Roxanne.
I do have a question. News came out, I think last week, a group interfaith said,
Valley Interfaith.
Valley Interfaith. How did you feel when the news came out that they said that they wanted to take Mission out and add Weslaco into, I guess it was the county,
the governing board,
the governing board of the hospital district?
Well, I don't think it was Valley Interfaith. I think it was
Mando Martinez,
state representative. Okay. One of the individuals that's responsible for doing away with our cap, that was saving a lot of people, a lot of headaches, and a lot of problems. We were only responsible by state law for 10%. Mando Martinez is responsible for us not having the cap anymore, and for us not having to pay for 100%. And that law was changed because he was one of the leaders that went ahead and wrote that bill. So of course he's upset at me because I do not agree with them. How can I agree to something like this? This 75 cents it's bad for the people of this county. It's not only.
You've been a backer of one State Senator Chuy Hinojosa, who has pledged to go. In fact, he's even put an ad in the paper that he's going to introduce legislation to take it down to 25. I have to give you 30 seconds. Have you fallen out with?
Of course. I mean, how can I believe in one? First, it might be illegal for him to be doing that. And if it's not illegal, it's morally wrong for him to be promising the people of this county that if they vote for it, I'll go ahead and change it. I mean, that is not right.
Commissioner Mayor Norberto Salinas, thank you very much. Caller, sorry to leave you hanging, but
we had a really full show today.
That's the way it was. That's the way it is. I'm Davis Rankin along with Roxanne Garcia. We'll talk elections tomorrow. We have election coverage tomorrow evening and election wrap-up the next day here on 710 KURV.
Bye-bye.